Welcome to another edition of Flux Rental Solutions how-to videos. Today we're going to be going over static reports and their uses in the system and how we can attach them either to quotes by default or have it as an option. Let me know if you can hear us. Should be able to hear audio right now. If not, got to check on your system settings for the join me. Cool. Looks like we are good to go. Okay. Static options. Static reports are used to attach specific PDFs to printouts. So examples of these might be credit card authorization files. So as an example, if I were to go to my Dropbox and we've got a credit card authorization file, a PDF that we created that we want to be able to attach to our proposals, that might be a good example of a static PDF. Some people have static terms and conditions that just have, hey, I've got 3 different PDFs that I use that don't have any dynamic information such as quotes, start dates, or stuff like that. They just have standard terms that they want to attach, nothing that is dynamically created. Other people may have some marketing material with pictures about their company that they may want to use. I've seen other people create contracts, PDF contracts that they want the customer to fill out with forms like these. And then finally, I've seen people do certificates that they have that they want the customer to know that they have specific certificates for their company. So let's go ahead and look at how we can add these first to the system and then how we can configure these to either be added as a pop-up on do you want to add these static reports when you print out this report, or if you want them to automatically be added. So under System Settings, there is a link called Static Reports. Normally on your systems, these will be blank. So as an example, you would hit New Static Report, and I'm going to open up this credit card authorization. We gave it a name. We told it we want to be an instant level report. So this is going to be able to be added to an element such as when we print out a quote to attach it to a specific quote. This isn't a report that we want to run for, say, all quotes as like a report on how many quotes we did last month. That would be a definition level. This is an instance level report. You would then go and browse your hard drive here and find the specific report that you want to upload. And then hit upload. And that will attach that PDF to this static report. If you want to download it later on to verify it's the correct settings, you can click this link and it will download it. So these are all the different static reports that we have created. And this is functional in your system as we speak. New functions that will be coming out on the next release are report groups and report preferences. I'm going to select report groups. This will allow us to create a specific type of a pop-up that we want to generate when we want to print out certain reports. So I created a new report group. And as an example, the name was Include Credit Card Authorization. We asked it, or we have a setting here, whether it should be after the last page of the report or before the first page of report. So are you looking for more of a cover page, or are you looking for a addendum? So right now we want to put the credit card authorization for this group to be printed as the last page. Then I want to select an available report and I went and found that credit card authorization static report there, and I hit add. Now you could also use this to have multiple options and then select a default version of this. So as an example, if you had 3 different PDFs or 3 different static reports, you could create a report group called Terms and Conditions, and you could create the group called Terms and Conditions, add it as the last page, upload all 3 static reports, and then choose which is your default term and condition PDF to include. So with that, you can create multiple report groups however you want, and we'll leave that open, and we'll go to System Settings, and we'll go to a new setting called Report Preferences that will also be available on the new release. These are all the different reports that we have uploaded into the system. So if we use the report Quote with Pricing Look A as our report that we print out all the time, we can open up that report. And the preferences, first of all, we have an authorized group of who can print this report. So if you want everyone but your shop techs to be able to print out this quote with pricing, you can limit it to specific groups. If you do not have anything selected, that means everyone can print the report. But as soon as you isolate it to one group, it will then switch that to say only this group or only these selected groups can print that. Now, you can enable a report group. So as an example, we enabled a report group called Include Credit Card Authorization. And again, we defaulted it to this credit card authorization form. And we hit OK and update. So let's open up a quote here, and we have enabled Quote with Pricing Look A for the quote element. And let's review before we go any further how we did that. We went to Projects, Project Elements, Quotes, and in the Reports tab of the quote element, right here, these are the instance level reports, and we enabled and checked Quote with Pricing Look A. So that's an option for a specific report when we open up a quote to be able to print that report. So now, if we go and find Quote with Pricing Look A, this one will ask, do you want it to be in PDF or Excel? We're going to leave it at PDF. Now you have this question, include credit card authorization. It defaulted it to yes, but we could select none and hit generate PDF. So we'll take a look at that report. There's our quote with pricing Look A. No credit card authorization. If we print that again this time and leave it set at its default settings, now you've got quote with pricing Look A and the credit card authorization attached. Two other things that you'll notice here on this pop-up is we also now have the ability to run this report in the background and have it email your user when it's complete. We have noticed that there are some large reports that take a lot of calculation in the background, and normal browsers will time out before it comes back with all the data. And so we've added this email me option to basically process the whole report in the background and then email it to you when it's completed. So that allows us to print out this report and include a credit card authorization. So let's do a quick review on that. Under static reports is where we created a static report and uploaded it. Under report group, we created a report group. This name is what shows up on that pop-up. We told it to go on the last page. We selected the static PDF, and then we selected it as the default. Then we went to report preferences to the actual quote that we want to add that report group to. So we enabled the report group, selected the report group, and then made sure that the default was set to credit card authorization. So you could enable multiple report groups for this. Finally, we went to project elements, quotes, and the reports tab, and enabled that report for quotes. So finally, when we go to a quote and we hit that quote that we enabled as an instance level report, it ran the report, asked if we want to include the terms and condition, and then we could generate that. So the second option that we had was, what if we wanted to always print out with a specific report instead of having a pop-up? Well, to do that, we would go to project elements, quotes, and the reports tab. And under the default print format, this is where you can configure how we want these to automatically print out by default. So if we hit generate PDF, what does that generate PDF look like? And what does it contain? So here we put in quote with pricing look A, and we've put in a budgetary summary agreement. And if we wanted to, we could just put that credit card authorization and hit add. Other things that I've had customers ask us about is, at most of our warehouses, we don't want credit card authorization files printed out by default. But I've got a on-site location, say at a hotel, that I always want that credit card authorization printed out. So what we could say is, if I am at a specific location, I would like the credit card authorization form printed out. But if it's at a Utah location, it would not print it out, as an example. So let's hit add. Let's see. So what it's saying is, for all locations, when we hit generate PDF, I want to print out the quote with pricing. Then I want my budgetary summary agreement, and if I'm at the Flex Denver location, then print out the credit card authorization. If not, then don't print it out. Now, what would happen if you wanted to print out the credit card authorization in 2 locations but not the other 2? Then you could say, I'm at Flex Video. So if I'm at Denver, print out the credit card authorization. If I'm at Flex Video, print out the credit card authorization. If not, do not print those. So you can use multiple locations like that. So that's how we can configure what happens when we hit generate PDF, or if we hit send to client. Generate PDF and send to client get their settings from the same area. So that is a little bit of a background on static reports, how we can configure them now for printing out on the back or before specific generated PDFs, and then in the future how we can create specific groups and add those groups into pop-ups. With that, we want to thank you for joining us for this webinar. If you have any questions, please contact support@flexrentalsolutions.com. Thanks.